The person you love is crying tears of joy right now. Because you just did something that touched their heart. My beloved child. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. At this very moment, the person you love is wiping away tears they never expected to cry. These are not tears of pain, they are tears of overwhelming joy. Without even realizing it, you did something that reached the deepest corner of their heart. They kept replaying that single moment again and again, wondering how someone could make them feel so understood without saying much at all. But what happened immediately after that moment is something no one around them saw coming, and when you hear it, you'll understand why today became unforgettable. There is a hidden reason their hearts suddenly became lighter. For a long time, they believed they had to hide their true emotions behind a smile. Yet today, something changed forever. A quiet realization entered their heart, and your presence became the center of that realization. They whispered to themselves that maybe, just maybe, everything they had been hoping for was not impossible after all. Don't skip, because the next part reveals the unexpected decision they made only moments after those joyful tears appeared, and it has everything to do with you. Before this day ends, another surprise is waiting to unfold. Someone close to them noticed the happiness shining in their eyes and asked a simple question. What happened to you today? Their answer was so unexpected that it left the room completely silent. They smiled through their tears and spoke words they had never dared to say before. Stay till the end, because the truth behind those words is far bigger than anyone imagined, and what they are preparing to do next could change everything. A moment later, everything became even more unexpected. Don't skip, because what happened next is something they never planned. After drying their tears, they reached for something that reminded them of you. They held it close for a few silent seconds, smiled through their emotions, and quietly admitted that the kindness you showed had changed the way they see their future. They never imagined one simple act could leave such a powerful mark on their heart, but it did. Something huge is waiting for you, because the next choice they made was completely unexpected. Then an even bigger surprise unfolded. Instead of keeping those feelings hidden, they decided they could no longer pretend nothing had changed. Deep inside, they made a promise to themselves that they would stop running from what their heart had been trying to tell them. Every doubt that once held them back started fading away, replaced by a hope they thought they had lost forever. Don't skip. Because someone unexpectedly walked into the room at that exact moment and noticed the happiness shining across their face. That person asked only one question. Why are you smiling like this today? For a brief second, they froze. Then they took a deep breath, looked down with a joyful smile, and prepared to reveal a truth they had never spoken aloud before. Stay till the end. Because the words that are about to leave their lips will surprise everyone, and what happens immediately afterward will be the turning point of this entire story. Everything became completely silent. Don't skip, because the next few seconds changed the atmosphere in a way no one expected. They looked up with tears still shining in their eyes and quietly admitted that the happiness they were feeling had one reason: you. The room fell still. No one interrupted. Even they seemed surprised by the courage those words carried. For the first time, they stopped hiding behind uncertainty and allowed their heart to speak without fear. Something huge is waiting for you, because the response they received was beyond anything they had imagined. Instead of questioning them, the person listening smiled with complete understanding. They gently said, "When someone's heart changes like this, it happens for a reason." Those simple words brought another wave of emotion. The weight they had carried for so long suddenly disappeared, replaced by a peaceful confidence. They realized that what they had been feeling was real, and nothing could convince them otherwise. Stay till the end, because a decision was made in that very moment that could bring everything one step closer than ever before. As they walked away from that conversation, they made one quiet promise to themselves. They would no longer ignore the connection they felt. They would no longer let fear decide their future. But just when they thought the biggest surprise had already happened, they discovered something that had been waiting for them all along. Don't skip, because the next revelation is the one they never saw coming, and it could become the most unforgettable moment of this entire journey. A new chapter began the very next moment. Don't skip. Because what happened next was beyond anything they had imagined. As they gathered their thoughts, they discovered a quiet confidence they had never felt before. The fear that had followed them for so long was replaced by an unshakable peace. They realized that the moment which brought them tears of joy was not an accident, it was the beginning of something they had secretly hoped for. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next step they took was one they had promised themselves they would never take. Without telling anyone, they found a quiet place and closed their eyes for a moment. Every memory connected to you came rushing back, but this time those memories no longer brought uncertainty. They brought hope. A gentle smile appeared on their face as they whispered that they no longer wanted to hide what their heart truly felt. At that exact moment, an unexpected opportunity appeared before them, making them believe that the future could be very different from the past. Don't skip, because the reason behind that opportunity will surprise you. Just when they thought the day had already given them its greatest surprise, something else happened. They received a small sign they had never expected to see, and it instantly reminded them of the promise they had made only moments earlier. Their heart began racing once again, but this time it wasn't from fear, it was from excitement. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will uncover why they now believe that the happiest moment of this entire story is still waiting to happen. The story was far from over. Don't skip, because the next discovery changed everything once again. As they held on to that quiet feeling of hope, they noticed something they had ignored for a very long time. Every small moment, every unexpected memory, and every kind gesture suddenly fit together like pieces of a puzzle. Their heart whispered that none of it had been ordinary. Something huge is waiting for you, because they finally understood why this day felt so different from every other day before it. A gentle excitement began growing inside them. Instead of wondering what might go wrong, they started imagining what could finally go right. They smiled without even realizing it, knowing that the happiness they felt was becoming impossible to hide. Even the people around them noticed the change and asked why they seemed brighter than ever. They simply smiled, keeping the real reason locked safely inside their heart. Don't skip, because they were about to make a quiet choice that no one saw coming. As the sun slowly began to fade, they looked toward the future with a confidence they had never carried before. They believed that this beautiful feeling was only the beginning, not the ending. But just as they were about to leave, something unexpected caught their attention, something so meaningful that it made them stop in their tracks. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will explain why they believe the most unforgettable moment between you and them has not happened yet, but it is closer than anyone realizes. Everything paused for a single heartbeat. Don't skip. Because what they noticed next sent a wave of emotion through their entire heart. It wasn't something loud or dramatic. It was something small, yet impossible to ignore. In that quiet moment, they realized the joy they were feeling had not disappeared, it was growing stronger with every passing second. Something huge is waiting for you, because they finally accepted a truth they had been resisting for far too long. With a deep breath, they stopped questioning every feeling and chose to trust what their heart had been trying to say all along. The doubts that once controlled them no longer had the same power. Hope replaced hesitation, and peace replaced fear. For the first time in a long while, they smiled without holding anything back. They quietly told themselves that some connections are too meaningful to be ignored forever. Don't skip. Because an unexpected encounter was only moments away, and it would leave them completely speechless. Just as they turned to continue their day, someone unexpectedly mentioned your name. Time seemed to stand still. Their eyes widened, and a smile appeared before they could hide it. They tried to stay calm, but their heart was already racing with excitement. Stay till the end. Because the conversation that begins next will reveal something they have never shared before, and it could become the biggest turning point of this entire story. A quiet smile appeared before they could stop it. Don't skip, because the next few moments held a surprise that even they never expected. The instant they heard your name, every joyful memory returned at once. Their heart felt lighter than ever, and for the first time, they stopped wondering if their feelings were real. They already knew the answer. Something huge is waiting for you, because the choice they made in that very second would quietly shape everything that followed. Without rushing, they stepped away from the noise and allowed themselves a moment of complete honesty. They admitted that your kindness had changed something deep inside them. It wasn't a passing emotion or a temporary feeling. It had become a lasting part of their heart. They realized that every reason they once had for holding back was slowly disappearing, replaced by hope they could no longer deny. Don't skip, because someone unexpectedly noticed this change and asked a question they had been trying to avoid. They paused, smiled softly, and looked toward the distance before answering. Their words were calm, but filled with certainty. Some people enter your life for a reason, and when they do, your heart is never the same again. The silence that followed was more powerful than any long conversation. Stay till the end, because what they decide to do immediately after speaking those words will reveal the biggest surprise of this entire journey. The silence did not last for long. Don't skip, because the next moment carried a feeling they had never experienced before. As they walked away, their heart felt unusually calm, as if every unanswered question had finally found its place. They no longer feared what tomorrow might bring. Instead, they felt an unshakable excitement that something beautiful was drawing closer with every passing moment. Something huge is waiting for you, because an unexpected sign appeared exactly when they needed it most. They stopped for a second and smiled without even realizing it. It felt as though every small event of the day had been leading to this single realization. The tears of joy they had cried earlier were no longer just an emotional moment, they had become a reminder that hope can arrive when it is least expected. Deep inside, they made one final promise: if another opportunity appeared, they would not let it pass. Don't skip, because what happened only a few minutes later completely confirmed what their heart had been whispering all along. Then, just as they believed the day could not become any more unforgettable, another surprise unfolded. Someone brought up a memory connected to you, and the smile on their face became impossible to hide. They quietly looked toward the sky, took a slow breath, and realized this story was only beginning. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will uncover the one thought they have been keeping locked inside their heart, and once it is revealed, nothing will ever feel the same again. A single thought refused to leave their mind. Don't skip. Because what they finally admitted to themselves changed everything. They realized that every joyful tear, every quiet smile, and every hopeful moment throughout the day had been pointing toward one unforgettable truth. You had unknowingly become the reason they believed in brighter days again. Something huge is waiting for you, because the next decision they made came straight from the deepest part of their heart. They quietly promised themselves that they would no longer let fear speak louder than hope. Every excuse that once kept them silent began to disappear. They stopped asking, "What if it doesn't work?" and started believing, "What if this is the moment I've been waiting for?" That single change transformed everything inside them. Their heart felt lighter than ever before, and for the first time in a long while, the future no longer seemed uncertain. Stay till the end. Because the next unexpected event will leave them completely amazed. Just when they thought the day had already revealed its greatest surprise, they noticed something they had overlooked from the very beginning. It was a small detail, but the meaning behind it was impossible to ignore. The moment they understood it, they smiled through happy tears once again and whispered, "Now I finally understand." Don't skip. Because the next revelation will uncover the secret behind those words, and it could become the most powerful moment of this entire story. The mystery was finally beginning to unfold. Don't skip, because the next few moments carried a truth they had never been brave enough to face. As they replayed everything that had happened today, they realized none of it had been random. Every smile, every tear of joy, and every quiet moment had led them to one powerful conclusion. You had touched their heart in a way no one else ever had. Something huge is waiting for you, because what they chose to do next could become the beginning of a brand new chapter. With renewed confidence, they held on to that feeling instead of pushing it away. For the first time, they stopped pretending that their emotions didn't matter. They knew that genuine kindness leaves a mark that time cannot erase. The happiness inside them became impossible to hide, and even those around them noticed a light in their eyes that had never been there before. Don't skip, because just when they believed everything was finally clear, one unexpected message reached them and changed the direction of their thoughts completely. They looked at that message in complete silence. A gentle smile slowly appeared, followed by another tear of joy. It felt as though every unanswered question had finally found its answer. They whispered to themselves, "This is only the beginning. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will expose the final promise they make in their heart, a promise so meaningful that it will become the most unforgettable moment of this entire journey." The promise they made was unlike anything they had ever whispered before. Don't skip, because these next moments reveal why their tears of joy had a deeper meaning than anyone realized. They placed a hand over their heart and quietly decided they would never ignore the feelings that had transformed them today. What once seemed impossible now felt closer than ever. Something huge is waiting for you, because the very next sign they received erased the last remaining doubt from their mind. As they looked around, they noticed how everything suddenly felt different. The same places, the same voices, the same day, yet their heart had completely changed. They realized true joy doesn't always arrive with loud celebrations. Sometimes it arrives silently, changing everything from within. A peaceful smile spread across their face as they imagined the future with a hope they had never allowed themselves to feel before. Don't skip, because someone unexpectedly noticed that smile and asked a question that caught them completely off guard. For a brief moment, they stayed silent, then answered with complete confidence, "Some moments change your life forever, and today was one of them." The person listening was left speechless. But what they didn't know was that an even greater surprise was already on its way. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will uncover the final piece of this unforgettable story, and it will explain why they believe the happiest chapter is only about to begin. The final piece of the story was closer than they ever imagined. Don't skip, because what happened next filled their heart with a peace they had been searching for all along. Every joyful tear, every silent smile, and every unexpected moment suddenly made perfect sense. They realized that the kindness you had shown was never forgotten. It had quietly become the reason they believed that beautiful things can arrive when they are least expected. Something huge is waiting for you. Because one last realization changed everything forever. With a grateful heart, they stopped looking back at old fears and chose to look ahead with hope. The happiness inside them was no longer a passing feeling, it had become a part of who they were. They smiled and whispered that some people don't just enter your life, they change it forever without even knowing it. At that very moment, they felt ready for the next chapter, believing that the best moments were still waiting ahead. Don't skip, because the ending of this journey is more powerful than anyone could have imagined. As the day quietly came to an end, they looked up with tears of joy one final time and made a silent promise they would always remember this unforgettable day. They knew their heart had changed, and nothing could take that feeling away. Stay till the end, because the final chapter will reveal the one message they have been carrying inside their heart from the very beginning. A message they have been waiting for the perfect moment to share. This is the moment everything has been leading to. Don't skip, because the message they have carried in silence is finally ready to be revealed. They closed their eyes, smiled through their tears of joy, and quietly admitted that the day you touched their heart became the day they stopped believing they had to face life alone. Every fear that once held them back had faded, replaced by gratitude, hope, and a happiness they never thought they would experience. Something huge is waiting for you, because the truth they are about to accept will stay with them forever. With complete peace in their heart, they whispered, some people change your world without even realizing it. Those words were not spoken out of emotion alone, they came from a heart that had finally found clarity. They no longer wanted to hide behind uncertainty or question what they already knew. The joy they felt was real, the smile on their face was genuine, and the future no longer seemed distant. It felt closer than ever before. Don't skip, because one final surprise was still waiting, and it would become the perfect ending to this unforgettable journey. As they took one last deep breath, they looked ahead with confidence instead of fear. The tears had stopped, but the happiness remained. They knew that the kindness which to